Right. Yes, I agree. But I don't want to move away from this topic too far. Can you just like read to yourself the definition I sent you for raw dogging? And we're just gonna sit in silence and let you read. I just want your reaction.
Everyone's gonna look at it. Look at it now.
Eyebrow raised.
Okay.
So now that
Yeah.
you've seen this, some of the examples they give are very funny if you scroll down a little bit. How it's used in a sentence, that sort of thing. But now, rewind a little bit in this conversation.
Okay.
We were
Before
talking. We were talking about
I understand.
airplane entertainment, and out of nowhere, with zero
No,
hesitation, you said,
actually,
"Have you heard of raw dogging?"
actually, no.
That's what just happened.
That's not even what happened. I said, "Oh yeah, nuts are good," and then I went. So, anyway, let me
Yes.
read you.
No, yeah. Yeah. I
Look,
like nuts. Have you heard of raw dogging?
I'm gonna.
Ah,
Mr. Puntastic. Well, hey Paul, I feel like it's been a minute since we recorded one of these.
yeah. So what's funny is when we started this, we talked about like how long do we go? Are we just signing up for an indiscriminate amount of time? And we sort of came up with this idea of like doing a season, and then we would stop, and then we'd pick it up again. And we were like, how long's a season? Turns out it's like 5 episodes as a season because that's kind of what we made it before we were like, all right, let's take 4 weeks off from talking.
Are you saying this is season 2? We're starting season 2 right
I
now.
don't I don't actually know if it's season two, but I just like if we're
Uh,
just tracking our natural rhythm,
yeah,
4 weeks consistently of doing this,
and then a
pretty much pretty much need a break at that point.
and then a break. Okay,
And then
cool.
a break,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, that's all good. Well, hey, I thought we could start off with just like we used to start off meetings when we worked together. Like, let's talk about the big win. Like, what are the wins that you're celebrating? What are the things that you're excited about? And I'll go first, okay? So you don't have to be
All right.
on the hook for that. But I just got a big win right before this started recording, right before we came in the office, because FedEx delivered this doohickey, and
Shout out
this,
Federal Express.
yeah, this was a long overdue check from a client. So big win. They're now
Hey,
paid up. Yeah, love that.
money is a good thing.
Yeah.
I have two wins. Um, so one is that we had some sports awards recently, as well as like my oldest daughter Grace is a drama kid, so she's assistant stage manager for the high school production that's going on right now. And then my daughter Abby played water polo. Jackson plays all the sports, but just finished football season at school. And so they were all recognized in their like respective things. So Jackson got a big award, and Abby got recognized and got some nice shout outs. And then
Nice.
Grace, actually, this was super fun. They're doing Jekyll and Hyde, which I don't know if you're familiar with Jekyll and Hyde the musical, but famously, David Hasselhoff starred in Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway, and so he did like this was his thing, I guess, was he did 3 kicks at the end of the show during the curtain call, like just big
Okay.
like karate kicks. And so I guess it's a tradition for productions that do Jekyll and Hyde where they do the Hoff at the end of the curtain call. And so the drama teacher at school has done a thing where the person that works the hardest and has a great attitude and all this stuff gets to come out on stage and do the Hoff at the end with the guy that plays the lead. And so Grace got to be one of the Hoffers. So she got to come out and do an awkward kick, and they didn't explain it at all. It's like a thing that they know, but they didn't tell the audience
Okay.
what was going on. So
Okay.
you're randomly like, "Hey, who's that girl?" Uh, just kicking at the end with Jacqueline.
But she got to
So
do
that
it.
was one, and then yeah, and then number two is, and this is going to be really dumb, okay? But we moved into this house 3 years ago, and I've tried to become more of a handyman. I've tried to, understand things. 'Cause I don't want to spend a bunch of money on stuff that needs fixing. This is a 30-year-old house, and we've just had really crappy water pressure. And I was like, I got to figure this out. So I've been researching. I've been looking at YouTube, trying to find reasons why. Is there a leak in the line somewhere? No, that's not it.
Hmm.
And I finally found this, like, it's like a $4 tool. You get a bag and it has like these little blue um, doodads. I don't know. You basically, like, because on a faucet, I'm doing a lot of pointing, and this is an audio medium, so it's going to be very helpful. But on a faucet, right, like you have sort of an end cap, a piece that's called the aerator. I don't know if you knew this about
Okay.
a sink faucet, but in our bathroom sink, it was just kind of trickling out. And so I got this little doodad, was able to go up under the faucet and twist out the aerator, pull it out, and then clean out some debris that had been building up. And now the sink is flowing like the Danube. I don't know if that's a river that's still flowing. I don't know. Uh, it's really going good. And I was like, I'm a plumber now, basically. So in my
Wow.
spare time, I plumb. That's what I do. So big wins all over. I'm plumbing. Kids are getting recognized for things. Good stuff's happening.
That's awesome. Well, that brings me to our next segment, which is things that should have worked. So, kind of going off your plumbing experience here, things that should have worked. The first thing, I got a couple things. The first thing is that the other day our toilet was clogged. It was backed up. Now, it was clear water. It was not like, it wasn't one of those gross ones. It was, I was like, okay, what's going on here? It must have been too much toilet paper or something. And I just couldn't get it. I plunged that sucker like I've never plunged a toilet before. I mean, I was tired. I did like 3 sessions, you like let the water go down and then try again,
Wow.
like full on. Then I was like, forget it. I'm going to Ace. I'm getting something to like snake this out. So I get this 3-foot doohickey, right? That goes in and you twist it around like inside the tubes, kind of goes all twist around. So I've got it in there. I'm doing this thing and I just can't get it. I just can't get it. And the water's very murky from all the toilet paper that's disintegrated. So you can't see through it anymore. And I'm just like, man, I don't know what to do. And this was at night. So I get on Thumbtack, the app where you can get
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
handier people than yourself to come out and do things. So I put a quote in, or I put an inquiry into somebody, and a different handyman reached out. I guess I can kind of see it. And he was like, I can be there at 8 a.m. I'm like, deal. Come at 8 a.m. He's like, the cost is $100. I'm like, whatever. Just like, I got to get this done. We got to have the toilet. So he comes out and he's got it. He gets it flowing, right? He's got like a 25 footer that he's putting down the drain. Anyway, so
Yeah.
so things that should have worked. I should have been able to do that easily, but I'm just not that handy. So as you're learning all these things, like I'll do 1 attempt, maybe 2 attempts at learning these things, watching a video, and then I'm like, I'm out. I just can't. I'm not gonna stay on this trajectory. I got to get some help here. So I do
Yeah.
know when to
Well,
tap out.
first of all, I don't know that I was prepared to start the pod with this much toilet related material, but
Yeah.
glad to know we can get there. Yeah, I think I don't know what the expectation is. I feel like my dad growing up, I don't remember him fixing a ton of things, but I remember feeling like he was much more capable than I am. My father-in-law now, my wife's dad, he is very handy, and so um, oftentimes he'll come, when they come and visit, and he's just sitting around, looking for things to do, and like he'll wash our windows, he'll fix things that we didn't even realize were broken. He'll change all the filters in the air conditioning system, and it's all stuff that, like, I'm really grateful for his work and that he's doing it, but I also feel like super judged because
Because you're
like
not.
it's all stuff that I should have done as the man of the house, as the provider. It's like sort of written in this contract of marriage that, like, you will be the one that changes filter in the refrigerator for the water, or
Yeah.
and if I don't live up to that, I feel bad.
Well, here's so I do some of that, right? I've changed the filter in the water and all that, and we'll get off this maintenance thing. Um, but my
I'm,
father-in-law
I'm good. We can
is
talk about it all
the
day.
is the opposite. He is not handy at all, and he gets people to come and do things. So, I mean, he'll probably change a filter out of a fridge, but like, if something needs to be done around the house, somebody else is gonna come do it, and so I don't have that same pressure from the from the family.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, there's
It's
something about knowing your limitations. There's something that's like inherently healthy about knowing your limitations
yeah,
and just being okay with it. Like,
yeah,
hey, this
totally
just isn't my thing. I'm just not going to be that guy. It's okay. Um, anyway.
cool. Well, I've got another thing that should have worked, and it was airport
Okay.
security. So I recently went. I know, right? I recently went on a couple of trips. One, I had to fly, so I went to Phoenix, and I flew out of Fresno, where we live. Pretty smooth process. Like, no, I didn't check anything. I just had like my backpack with my stuff in it, and then I had my rolly thing, and I put it through, and they went through. So all smooth, right? No line, right through. Cool, straight to my gate. Um, the problem is, a couple days later, as I was packing up everything to come home, and I was like, okay, I'm getting ready, I realized I have a pocket knife in my backpack about this big that I had
For
forgotten was
those
in
of
my
you,
backpack.
for those of you listening, Micah is holding two fingers about 5-6 inches apart, maybe.
Yeah, something
Uh,
like that. So
Again, audio
no, not
medium.
5. It's like 3, but it's like a 3-inch blade or whatever. But it was in my backpack, and so things that should have worked. Airport security in Fresno did
Yeah,
not catch that. So I was nervous. I was like, well, I was like, I like this knife. I don't want to not have it, but also like I don't want it to cause a delay or cause a problem in security. So I just threw it away because I didn't want to deal with what if it was I don't know what would happen, but they wanted to take me in another room and search me or something. I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just going to toss it. I'll get a new one sometime. But that is something that should not happen. Someone
yeah.
should not be able to board a plane with quick access to a 3-inch blade, right?
I can't even get through with my full size contact lens solution. Like I get stopped every time, and my daughter's like, "Why don't you just buy a travel one?" And I'm like, "Because I don't get off my back." Um, but yeah, that absolutely should not happen. That feels like an indictment of the whole system. But let me ask: are you doing TSA PreCheck?
No.
Look, I'm going to deliver a hot take here because TSA PreCheck's been around since like 2008, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, it's awesome. It is like it's the best experience ever. At our airport, a smaller airport, I could show up 10 minutes before my flight if I wanted to, and just walk right on. It's the friggin' best. I highly recommend you should do TSA PreCheck. For all of
Uh,
you listeners out there,
so question about
something
that.
you already knew, candy is good, and so is
Candy
TSA
is good.
PreCheck.
All right. So question about that. Follow-up question. Uh, I think I looked into it one time, but I was like, it seems like a lot of trouble. So tell me the process.
Okay, so you go online, you just search for it, and they have these different places similar to like getting your passport photo taken. They have different like authorized places where you can go, and this was a weird experience. It was over in Clovis, and it was like this older office building, and the people that were doing it, they do like they do the TSA pre-check. I think they do passport photos and bookkeeping. It was like this sort of all-inclusive
Okay.
catch-all. Like we're just going to do a ton of services
Okay.
for people. And so just the waiting room was way too small for the number of people that were there. It's all by appointment, so no one's walking in, but still way too many people there. But you sit on the couch and you wait, and then you go, they take your, they don't even think, I don't think they have to scan your face to make sure you're you. You give them like, a couple of forms of ID. They run a background check, and then in a couple of days, it's like $90. And in a couple of days, you get a known traveler ID number that
Okay.
you can just put in your preferred airline app. And so now when I book my travel, which I have to do frequently for work, it's just there. And then I get TSA PreCheck. And so I walk through. So I had this done. We went on a family trip to Hawaii. Now, I travel a lot for work. Jen does not. So I have it. She doesn't. So we went to Hawaii, and you can take 3 minors. You have to be related to them, but you can take 3 minors with you on TSA PreCheck. So we have 4 kids. So this is a problem. So, like, I went through with my 3 youngest kids, and then Jen went through with our oldest daughter. And so they went through regular security. We went through TSA PreCheck. I'm not kidding. We got through the San Jose or San Francisco airport. Like, we got through security, got to our gate, found food, bought food, ate all the food, and had some left over. And Jen and Grace showed up 5 or 10 minutes after that, like just going through the excruciatingly long security line. It was the
Okay.
best.
Couple questions, couple follow-up questions now. See, now I'm interested. Let's pretend it was just you and Jen going. Do you have a +1? Like, what's going on with the other adult? So
No.
you can't, so there's the problem. Like, she's got to get it too for it to be worth it for the full family.
For $89, $90, and it's good for a couple of years. Like, yeah, we're doing this.
Okay. So it's good a couple of years or every year? How often do you have to renew it?
I think it's good for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Interesting.
I mean, if we knew we were just traveling the 2 of us, I would be like, okay, you're immediately getting TSA PreCheck.
Even if it's
in preparation,
even if it's the 5 of you, then you could take 2 and she could take 2. You know what I mean? Like kids, and you could all
6 of us,
and you could all go through.
Yeah, we didn't think of it in enough time for that. So we should have done that. We're not really flying with 4 children very often. This was like the one time forever. Hawaii is tough to.
Truthfully, I'm only flying like a couple times a year. I'm not really flying enough for me to worry about getting a.
I still think it's worth it.
PreCheck.
I still think it's worth it. I'm telling you.
All right.
Worth
it.
Okay. So good. I had someone that I work with was telling me like, oh, you got to do the international one, which is like I forget what they call it. Global entry is what they call it.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, well, why? What's the difference? And she was like, oh, it's way better. It's 5 years instead of 2, and you get all these perks for international travel. I'm like, well, I don't travel internationally. She's like, well, no, but you might. I'm going to get this thing because I might. No, like this just I actually use, but
just in case. Our family's going to Hawaii in January, so it would be interesting. But there would be no way that I'm going through without Erica. Like, if I had it and she didn't have it, I'm in line.
You should both get TSA
I'm in line.
PreCheck, man. I'm telling you, it'll be the best $180, $200 you've ever spent. To take your entire family through quickly. You're not dealing with the security. You're not like the slow shuffle, and then you don't even have to take your shoes off. You just put the thing on the bag and you just go through. Like, you're barely getting scanned. Like, it is.
Do you have to do the full body one where you're standing there with your hands up? Like,
now I think it depends. The last couple times I've gone, it's just through like a regular metal detector. But some places, have the full body scan. But I did clear for a while. This is such a fascinating podcast. This is gonna be really exciting. Oh, tell me about your travel hacks from 2009. Jeez.
No, I was just gonna ask you though. Like, okay, so you travel for work a lot. I don't travel for work a whole lot. But when I do, how do you think about that? Are you in a nice shirt? Are you in polo? Like, how are you dressing for the flight? Because you look around when you get on a flight and everybody's in from full 3-piece suit to pajamas. So what is your like dress for airplane travel thought.
So my company standard, I've thought about a lot about this. The company standard is that you travel in full suit, like when you're going to a work event. That was the standard when I started. It's not as rigid anymore, and I don't tell anybody. I do not do that. So usually I'm
I won't
traveling,
tell anyone,
maybe,
but you just told everyone.
I
So
know, I know. No one's listening to this. Uh, but if you're listening, thanks for listening. So I usually will travel the day before an event because flying out of Fresno is tough to do. But I have like, I want shoes that are comfortable and supportive enough that I can walk through an airport or run if I need to, if I've got a delay, but not so tight that I can't slip them on and off. Now I don't even have to take the shoes off because of pre-check, so I could tighten them up. And then I'm wearing like athleisure. I'm wearing a t-shirt, maybe a light hoodie, and some sweats or something like that. But I don't check my bags. I've done like the amount of hours I've spent looking at videos of how to pack a suitcase, and the amount of research I've done on like a suitcase that is both a garment bag for a suit, but that can also be rolled. Like I buy, there's a lot of great like dress wear now that's designed to be super comfortable and also wrinkle free. So like that's
yeah,
a majority of my wardrobe. So like I'm rolling my clothes and getting them in the bag. I carry on. I'm very serious about this whole process. I do not mess with like wearing the suit on the plane. I just can't. I'm a bigger guy. I got to be comfortable on a flight.
now, so I was talking to Zach Clark, who we'll have on the podcast at some point. I was talking to him about this, and he said that his dad taught him that you always wear a suit. And the reason, and this is kind of an old school thought, but the reason is because someday you're going to lose your luggage and you're going to have to
Right.
do a meeting or a presentation, and you're just going to have to wear what you got. Now, I replied back to that because this was like over a text or something. I was like, I don't check my, if I'm going for business, I'm not checking anything. I'm carry on.
Right.
He's like, well, okay. Like
This is my thinking. Like the company standard, I think is very much like you're going to corporate headquarters. You're going to be here for 2 weeks for sales training, whatever. And this was a few years ago. If you lose your luggage and you're just there in shorts, like you're looking terrible. And my response is I don't check my bags. I carry on. It's in the overhead bin. I can grab it, like good to go. I will never show up without like a suit and all that kind of stuff to the office or to the meeting.
yeah.
But I will not be on the plane in that.
Now, what are you doing on the plane? Are you napping? Are you trying to read? Well, like what's your go-to like plane etiquette?
Um,
Entertainment.
so so I'm more of a movie guy, a show guy. Like I'll
Okay.
download things. On my last trip, I watched almost all of the third season of Ted Lasso. No
Okay.
spoilers, but it's very good. Um, I am very conscious of snoring on a plane. Like, and you and I are both taller individuals. So when you sit in a plane chair, it's not like we're curling up with our head nestled, because you're not going to put your head on the shoulder of the next person. And
Hopefully.
when you sleep, you have no control of anything you're doing, right? So I know that if I sit with my head back, lean on the back of the chair, that
Yeah.
like I'm going to be sleeping with my mouth wide open, and I am a loud snorer. So like if I'm in that position, like I'll just be sawing logs in a big way, and I'm not willing, even though I would be unconscious for it, I'm not willing to face that kind of embarrassment of being the guy that. So like I will stay awake the entire time, and so I need to be watching shows or movies or something.
Interesting. Last on this last trip, I do a Monday email for my business, so I wrote 4 of those on the plane. So I was like,
Nice.
boom. So I'm like 3 months ahead right now, which is incredible for me. I'm usually not that far ahead, but it's awesome. But normally I would also like, I always forget to download the show. So I end up like with
Oh,
the,
yeah.
like whatever's available on the airlines, like
Oh,
American's got an app and you can watch stuff and you got to choose from that. So, so if I'm going to watch something, a lot of times since I forget to download, I'm doing that on my iPad or something,
no,
but yeah.
I've got the iPad loaded with downloaded shows. I've got the portable charger,
Yeah.
so I can keep it, keep it locked, keep it tight on the charging. I don't know if keep it tight is
Are
the right
you, are
expression.
you, are you accepting, the beverage cart? This is like the big moment of the flight, right? So the beverage cart comes down. What's your go-to? Are you like, would you like something, sir? What are you wanting? Are you doing chips or cookies? Because they
I
have the,
don't know why this. I don't know why this started. These are fantastic questions, by the way.
yeah,
I don't know why
so
this
entertaining.
started for me, but I am a ginger ale guy only on planes. Like for some reason,
Okay.
somewhere in my life, I was told that like ginger ale is delicious at 30,000 feet, and so I mean normally I would drink water or iced tea or diet coke, something like that. Um, but on a plane, like give me the ginger ale, and it served me well. I don't know what's going on with my hair here. I'm trying to adjust.
No, it's great. What about the snack? Sometimes it's nuts, pretzels. American has Biscoff, which I'm like,
The
give
Biscoff
me,
cookies are
give me
great.
that, give me that. That's what I want.
United, which is my preferred airline, don't at me. It's just what works. Uh, they have like a chocolate, like a dark chocolate hazelnut cookie or crisp kind of thing,
Okay.
which is quite nice. It's not. I feel like Biscoff cookies are the best bang for your buck because
Yeah,
like
for
there's
sure.
two of them, um, and the bag of peanuts. Like, what are we doing?
I see. I'm
We
good.
got
I'm
better
good.
than the bag of peanuts.
I like peanuts. Have you heard of raw dogging?
Wow,
Okay.
that
So
was okay. First of all, that was a very very sharp turn, and
that's not.
second of
It's
all,
actually not. If you know what it is.
based on what you're telling me, I don't think you're using raw dogging the way that it was originally intended. You might be
Okay.
applying it to some
So
snack thing, but
no, it's not a snack thing, but it is a entertainment on a plane thing. So raw dogging, the term it's become popular this year, 2024. So I don't even know when this podcast is going to come out, but 2024 it's become a popular term in terms of what you do on a plane. So what it means, before you let your mind wander, what it means, you're going to Google it, aren't you?
no, I'm sending you the Urban Dictionary link to raw
Okay.
dogging because I don't think we're comfortable saying what this is on the pod. But continue, and then you can
Sure.
read
Okay.
the.
So here's the definition I'm working from. Okay, and I've heard this other places and other people talk about this. It is the idea that you go without any entertainment on the plane. Like you sit and you just stare at that little screen that tells you where you are over the country that's moving ever so slowly. You just sit, look straight forward, and just stare at that screen and watch your location move for the entirety of the flight. So some people are doing this these days. They look
That
like
sounds
they're
that
crazy.
sounds terrible.
Yeah, they look like they're crazy, but it's sort of like a challenge, uh, challenge that people are accepting. Now, what it reminds me of, though, and this is why I was going to bring it up, it reminds me of that meeting that they have in the episode of The Office where there's the screen and the little
Oh
thing is
yes,
like ding, ding, you know, ding, and they're
yeah, where
trying to
you're
get it
getting
to
like
hit the corner.
yeah, it's like the rest mode screen
Yeah,
when a DVD when the source is on the DVD
old
option or
school,
whatever,
old
old school,
school. And
and you just see like DVD bouncing,
so you
and it
remember
looks
that?
like it's going for the corner, and then it veers.
And then it barely misses. And then like every
Yeah,
once in a while it hits the corner. And in that episode of The Office, do you remember everyone's just like, oh, uh, oh, and then it finally
Yeah.
hits and they're like, yeah. And whoever's talking, I can't remember. I think it's Michael.
Michael. Yeah, Michael's
He's talking and he thinks the whole time they're reacting to his speech
Yeah.
or whatever he's talking about. It's this amazing moment. But I think it's really funny because that little screensaver has also become something to be used at like sporting events on the Jumbotron. And the audience does that because they know what to do now.
Right. Yes, I agree. But I don't want to move away from this topic too far. Can you just like read to yourself the definition I sent you for raw dogging? And we're just gonna sit in silence and let you read. I just want your reaction.
Everyone's going to look at it. Look at it now.
Eyebrow raised.
Okay.
So now that
Yeah.
you've seen this, some of the examples they give are very funny if you scroll down a little bit. How it's used in a sentence, that sort of thing. But now, rewind a little bit in this conversation.
Okay,
we were talking about
I understand.
airplane entertainment, and out of nowhere, with zero hesitation,
No, actually,
you heard of raw dogging.
Actually, no. That's
what
not
just
even
happened.
that's not even what happened. I said, "Oh yeah, nuts are good," and then I went. So, anyway, let me
Yes,
read you.
no, yeah. I like nuts. Have you heard of raw dogging?
I'm gonna. Okay,
man.
I'm gonna send you something now.
Okay. This
and
is a great bit. Paul
Yeah,
and Micah text each other while the audience waits.
This bit. This bit.
I can hear people hitting unsubscribe.
No, this is the moment where they lean in because they realize I'm a moron. So,
Okay.
this is an article from the BBC talking about raw dogging on an airplane, which is different than the Urban Dictionary thing that you brought up.
So this is interesting because the picture that they have on here is Erling Haaland, who's one of the best footballers in the world.
That's Damian Bailey.
What's that?
The picture is Damian Bailey.
Yeah, the top picture. But then if you scroll down, the blonde guy who looks like the villain in Rock.
Okay, gotcha.
Like Ivan Drago. He plays for Man City. He's a great striker, and that's Erling Haaland right there, and he's raw dogging right now, which is rough to say out loud. But just raw dogged a 7-hour flight, no phone, no sleep, no water, no food, only map. #easy. Okay, let me ask you this. Let's talk about this challenge culture that we live in. Who's paying attention to this? Like, it's a challenge to do this. Who are you impressing? Like, who is impressed? This guy makes more money in per match than I do in a year, maybe 2 years, and he's staring at a map on a plane. Like, is this really a challenge? Like, we've had a lot of challenges over the years. Like, remember when planking was a big deal? I'm like, why is this a challenge? What? This is stupid. This is the asinine nature of the internet. That I'm just, maybe I'm too old, but
here's my thought on this. The challenges come about because of social media and the spread of things, and whatever spreads the quickest becomes the challenge, right? Whatever that is. Like there's a whatever goes viral becomes the thing that people want to do, and sometimes they're challenges. Remember the ice bucket challenge? I think we did that at one point.
Can I just say real quick? Things go viral and spread a lot faster when you're raw dogging. Okay, everybody, that's our show. That's our show for this week. Thanks so much.
Okay. Yeah. So let's do a hard turn here because let's do a hard turn.
I like nuts. Have you heard of raw dogging?
Okay, listen. Here's what we're gonna do. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, this is the segment that I've been waiting for. This is the pun and done. This is where we share some puns, some jokes, some things, and then we end the episode, because I think this episode has gone about as low as we can possibly go. And yeah, let's end it.
Well, it's been mostly airplane related, so maybe it's going as high as it can possibly go.
Ooh,
There's our first pun right there.
Da-dun-cha. I didn't have the audio cue, so I just said it. All right. How about I'll go first. So
Okay.
on this trip recently, I tried making a deal with the guy sitting next to me, right? Told him what I did, tried to make a deal with him. But it really never got off the ground.
Because you're on a flight.
Yeah, thanks.
That's good.
Is it?
Okay, this is you got to really focus on this one.
Okay.
What do you call a wizard who walks everywhere on bare feet, has poor bone density, and really bad breath?
I don't know.
A super calloused fragile mystic hexed by halitosis.
Okay.
That was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to get to that one, and I don't really think it was worth it. But
that was a lot of work. I mean, you probably Googled. It was rough.
Yeah.
Getting there. Yeah. Why did the business leader bring a ladder to the airport?
I don't know.
He was going to a high-level meeting.
I like it.
Okay, good.
Okay. I've got a career announcement to make.
Okay.
I just quit my job at the helium factory.
Okay.
Yeah. I won't be spoken to in that tone.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. So, do you know what the main problem is with just flying economy for a business trip?
No.
It's just such a plain experience.
Oh man, boy, we're really sticking on brand here. Your
That's
puns
right.
are all airline related. Wow. That's impressive. So this is no, I don't like that one. Never mind. Sorry, I wrote some of these down and then I'm deciding on the fly that I don't like them. One second.
Great job.
Oh, this is a good one. So topical because Disney is releasing an update of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I got mugged by 6 dwarfs yesterday. Not happy.
Probably sleepy, grumpy. Yeah.
Bashful. Doc, yeah.
Who was your favorite dwarf? You gonna say it?
I don't know. I
know
kind
you're gonna
of
say
liked Grumpy.
Okay. Grumpy. I was gonna say dopey.
Dopey was always. I mean, yeah, Dopey was the tugged at the heartstrings, right?
Yeah, he was lovable, right? He's the lovable one.
Lovable, the lovable doofus.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So when I travel, I try to book my stay, my hotel near the airport. You do this?
Smart. Yeah, smart.
The problem is the prices are like sky high.
That's good. Hey, you know what? You know what makes me smile?
What's that?
My facial muscles.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, here's the last one for me. All right. So
Okay.
recently I had to change like a bunch of passwords. You got so many passwords. It's just crazy. Even if you use a password manager, it's just there's just too many, right? So I decided to change them all to just Kenny. So
Kenny,
now,
Kenn.
yeah. So now it's all just Kenny Loggins.
Yes. Okay, I saw that one the other day and was like, that's really awesome. I wish I had a password that was just puns. Um, well, Micah, my last one, it taps into my heritage. I don't know if you know this about me. I'm Norwegian
Uh-huh.
and Scandinavian people, famous for yodeling. I don't know if you knew this. I am an accomplished yodeler. In fact, I've given yodeling lessons,
Wow.
and when people show up, I always inform them to please form an orderly queue, like an orderly queue. It's not great, and it wasn't a good yodel
Wow.
either. I didn't
Wow.
commit. I should have committed. I didn't commit.
You could try it again. You want to try it again? You want
No,
to fully
no,
commit?
the
You don't
moment
want to
has
fully
passed.
commit? Okay.
No.
All right. Scared of it. Okay. You could just, yeah. Never mind. I was gonna say crazy things. So thanks for hanging out. That's the pod. That's the whole pod. We're gonna have some new guests on soon. So excited to move full steam ahead with our
Yeah,
recordings.
and go out there and raw dog and let us know your experience.
Yeah.
No, they actually don't.
On just
No,
the plain version. Oh my goodness, this is
the plain
terrible.
version. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that either.
Oh gosh, this
All right, we'll see you guys.